So you in the head and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table.
You motherfucking tube. It's your boy Rollo Jenkins. Just want to kick it real quick about one of the very few fights that actually matter in boxing this year. In my eyes, this is only about the third fight of any real significance this year. I won't say, of just major importance. Bradley Pacquiao, I believe, was a very important fight. Canelo Lara, I believe, was a very important fight, regardless of how the actual fight turned out. But it was a very important fight, a fight that needed to happen. And this Sean Brook, Cale Porter, very, very, very important, intriguing matchup. First of all, with this fight, man, I'm really looking forward to this fight. Just basically because there hasn't been much to look forward to in boxing. So that makes me that much more amped when there is a good fight. I've been hearing a lot of shit about the drug testing, whether there is or isn't. Really doesn't matter to me to a degree. I would like to think that there would be, but if there's not, so be it, I really don't know who I'm picking in this fight still. I just haven't seen enough of Cale Brook. And Sean Porter is kind of inconsistent because the same fashion that he was able to get rid of Paulie, I believe he should have been able to get rid of Diaz. But the fact that he wasn't able to get rid of Diaz makes me believe that if you have a punch, if you got any kind of pop in your punch, that you might be able to keep Sean Porter off of you. Now, the one thing I always hear Sean Porter's dad always talk about is how strong, how powerful Sean Porter is. But the thing about that is, I don't give a fuck how strong you are, how much you can squat or bench press, what your pounds per pressure punch is. When your ass get cracked in the face, all that shit go out the window. And from the little bit that I've seen of Cale Brook, I believe that he can crack quite a bit. And that might just be enough to keep a Paulo Malignaggi from happening to him. So, I believe that it's going to be a pretty good fight. I don't think that Sean Porter doesn't strike me as the type of fighter to go into survival mode like let's say Aslan De Lara, who just wants to squeak by a round or to do just enough to make you think that they may have won a round. I believe that will probably keep the fight a lot more interesting than some of these past fights. Cale Brook has been known to have a little pop in his punch. Pretty good outboxer. Decent jab. Good right cross. It's just going to be very interesting to see. And to be honest, the winner of this fight basically puts himself into position to literally be the top guy at, a tie for third at welterweight. You got Pacquiao's put in a lot of work. You know, the guy that McDonald lost to, he's, you know, has longevity. And you have the winner of this fight. So, and at this point, no guy without actually beating any of the other guys can really call themselves the guy in the division. You know, you don't just get to a spot and hold it. You know, kind of like this Miguel Cotto middleweight shit. You know, I think it's utterly ridiculous that he could even consider himself, or we even call him the middleweight champion, being that we know that Triple G is out there. And it was already to the point where Sergio Martinez desperately needed to fight Triple G, but he didn't. So now that Miguel Cotto has beaten Sergio Martinez, it's only right that fucking Cotto fight Triple G. But to be parading around as the middleweight champion of the world and not fighting Triple G is utterly ridiculous. So, in my eyes, I will not perpetuate the bullshit propaganda of boxing. You know, you got certain guys like, I refuse to refer to Lamont Peterson as any type of champion because I know better. I refuse to say that any of these guys at welterweight are the champion because none of these guys have fought each other. You know, nobody's necessarily getting a fair shake. Super middleweight, I mean, Andre Ward had put in a lot of work, but that shit was a lot of years ago now. So, Carl Froch, in my eyes, is definitely the man right now. You know, you just don't become the champion and get to sit on the sideline and say that you're the man because nobody's beating you. But shit, if I didn't fight, I wouldn't lose either. So, this fight this weekend, Porter, Brook, very, very, very important. I believe it is the third most important fight of the year. Like I said, I believe that Pacquiao Bradley was a very important fight based on where those two guys were in their careers and places in the division. Canelo Lara was a fight that desperately needed to happen. And then you got this Kell Brook Sean Porter fight. Like I say, I believe that I right now I'm gonna say at first I was going with Porter, but based on the fact that Sean Porter had two really close fights with Julio Diaz, and I'm assuming that it was pretty much based on the fact that Diaz had a little pop in his punch, and Sean Porter, he destroyed Paulo Malignaggi, whose claim to fame is not having any pop in his punch. Devin Alexander, who really doesn't have real pop in his punch. Good speed, but he got that, he fights scared to me. So, if Kell Brook can crack even a little bit, I believe he's going to give Sean Porter problems. So, right now, I think I'm going to go with Kell Brook based on, you know, that's just my observation. But like I said, I haven't seen enough of Kell Brook. And honestly, not really enough of Sean Porter either to make a real educated and conclusive, you know, prediction. But right now, I'm going to go with Kell Brook. Definitely tune in. Tell your friends to tune in. Tell your folks, even if they ain't watching a fight, just fucking turn that shit on somewhere in the house or something, man. This is a real important fight. We all need to get behind this fight and support it. And let's ignore the bullshit. I'm not going to make videos talking about the shit that don't deserve to be talked about. That's why I'm making the video now. This is a very intriguing, important fight that should have happened, that needed to happen. That's great for boxing. It's the kind of matchup that we all love to see. And I'm not going to talk about the shit that we all hate. You know, I'm not going to talk about the dumbass shit that's going on. So it's your boy, Rollo